Hey, what is up, everybody? This is the Great Puckatini. And what I got for you tonight is I got the top 10 Arkansas Razorback players when they played against Kent State, kind of like the 10 guys that had the 10 best games. And what I'm getting this mostly is their grades off of Pro Football Focus, but also what I saw in the game. I think I like the grades a little bit better because, um, you know, even if they're like a lineman, they grade them on how well they did and what I see too. So I kind of use both of those and kind of go from there. So number 10, I'm going to start with number 10 and work my way down to number 1. The number 10 best player for Arkansas this past Saturday versus Kent State was defensive tackle Eric Gregory, the redshirt senior from Memphis, Tennessee. He had a 78 overall defensive grade. He graded out at 81% versus in the run game. He had 3 tackles. He had half of a tackle for loss, so he was assisted in a tackle for loss. And he also had a quarterback hurry. And the defense did a great job, this past Saturday. They held Kent State to like 1 yard rushing when you factor in all the sack yardage and stuff like that. So several defensive linemen had really good grades, played really well. Number 9 would be another defensive tackle, Taurean Carter. Taurean Carter, I think is how he pronounced his name. I can't remember. He's a redshirt senior from Mansfield, Texas. He graded out at 78% overall defensive grade, a 76% in the run game. He had a 67% pass rush, which was not great, but he's right on the 70% range. He did have 4 tackles, and he also had half a tackle for a loss. So Mr. Carter had a good game there. Another reason why Kent State had such a tough time trying to run the football. Number 8 comes in center Beaux Limmer, redshirt senior from Tyler, Texas. Beaux has moved in the center spot. Tough job to do. Have to snap the football. You have somebody on your head just about the whole game, and tough job to do. Beaux graded out at 78% overall offensive grade. He had a 71% pass blocking, and then he graded out 74% in the run game. So had a good game. Several of the reporters after the game was getting after Sam Pittman, Coach Pittman, about playing so many linemen and Pittman's doing it. The linemen did pretty well. A lot of times when the running game didn't work, is we was trying to run against 7 and 8 man lines, 7 and 8 man boxes. Defense, and it's hard to run against that when you're blocking with 6. But the offensive line graded out pretty well. Most of them did. And Beaux Limmer there comes at number 8. Number 7 is defensive end Landon Jackson. He's a junior from Texarkana. That's real close to me. In Texarkana, Texas, he went to Pleasant Grove High School. He graded out at 80% overall grade. Very good grade. 73% in the run game. 75% pass rush. He had 2 tackles. He had a sack. And then he had 1.5 tackles for loss. So Landon had a really good game. He's been playing real well. Boy, he's a big, strong guy. Runs well. He's going to be a good player for us this year. Watch out for him there. And he's just a junior. I'd love for him to come back next year. So he did a great job. All right, number 6 is one of my favorites. Linebacker Chris Paul Jr. He's a redshirt sophomore from Cordell, Georgia. And I think this guy's got NFL written all over him. I think he's a really good player. He didn't play as good last week, and I heard Pittman say that Thomas, I can't remember the guy's first name, linebacker Thomas from Cincinnati, Jaheim Thomas, I think, said he knows he's a starter, but he don't know who's going to play next to him. And I'm thinking, what? What about Chris Paul Jr.? I think Chris Paul Jr. is a starter, and who's going to play next to him? He only got to play half this week, but boy, he come in and had some big plays. That play he made down on the goal line, I mean, he just destroyed that running back. He's a big, strong guy. He's a good player. He's going to be really good for us again this year. He had a 80% overall grade defensively. He was graded out at 71% versus in the run game, and he graded out 80% tackling, which is really good. It's a good grade. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. So in one half of play, he did a lot. He was a stat sheet stuffer, as Dick Vitale used to say. All right, coming in at number 5 is right tackle Patrick Kutas, sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. Now, Big Kutas, he graded out at 82% overall. 77% pass blocking, and 79% in run blocking, So, and he played well last week, too. Kutas is definitely one of our best offensive linemen. We need to run behind him. He's doing a real good job for us. So I had him as the fifth best player. All right, fourth best player is another defensive tackle. Like I said, we dominated Kent State. They just, when you hear the fans and everybody, it makes you think we got beat, but we really dominated them defensively. I know they had a few plays here and there, threw the ball on us some, but really defense played really well. Defensive tackle Keivie Rose, redshirt senior from Henderson, Texas, by way of Louisiana Tech, which is just not far down the road from me. He graded out at 84% overall, very good grade. 80% versus the run, 70% pass rush. He had 3 tackles, and he also had half a tackle for loss. So a lot of good. That's good numbers in there for a defensive tackle. So Keivie Rose had a big game. He was the fourth best player. All right, third best player, another defensive tackle, Cameron Ball, redshirt sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, big boy. He had 4 tackles. He had an 85% overall defensive grade. 85%, that's really good. He had a 77% run defense grade, 80% pass rush grade. So he really rushed the passer well, and did a good job of collapsing the pocket. Did a real good job. So Cameron Ball came in at number 3, had the third best game. Number 2 was linebacker Antonio Grier, redshirt senior from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of South Florida. He transferred in. That play he made with that interception where he jumped up, intercepted it. Holy moly. That's a play like you see in the movies, when you jump up, usually just bat the ball down. He caught it. And then he ran in for a 25-yard touchdown run, maybe. Something like that. A huge play. It was huge for momentum at that time. Offense was really struggling, and that got us 7 points. That was a huge play at that time. So very big play right there. He had an 89.8%, really you could say 90% overall defensive grade. And most of that came from that coverage, that interception return, but that was a huge play in the game. Holy cow. If we don't get that, we may not score in the first half. We were struggling there. He graded out at 78% tackling grade, so had a really good game there for Antonio Grier, and he didn't even hardly play much in the first game. Maybe he didn't play at all. I can't remember now. But anyway, I had him ranked as the second best player Saturday versus Kent State. And the number 1 player, the player who I think had the best game, was KJ Jefferson, the leader of the team, quarterback, redshirt senior from Sardis, Mississippi. He had a 93.6% offensive grade. That's total grade. 93% passing grade. So threw the ball really well. He ran the ball real well too. Ran 13 times for 63 yards. And he's going to have to run the ball. He's just going to have to do it in our offense. And he's a good runner, big, strong runner. He may get hurt, but we got Jacoby Criswell that can come in for him. And I really like him. I think Criswell can win us a game or two if we have to. He's so much better than Malik Hornsby. He's just daylight ahead of him. Running when we get here getting SEC play, let's unleash KJ Jefferson. He's a good runner. He also passed. He ran 13 times for 63 yards. He also threw the ball really well. He was 13 of 19 for 136 yards. He had 2 passing touchdowns. Which that 13 of 19 is like a 68% completion percentage, which is super high. That's really good. I think we need to run him more, need to throw the ball more too. I know Pittman and them was Eno's trying to get the running game going, but you're not going to get it going when you're running against 7, 8-man fronts. When you're in that spread offense, if they have numbers against you, you're in that spread to throw the ball, to spread them out. If they're not spread out, you can't run it against them. I don't care who you have back there. Just think about it. If you got 6 offensive linemen and they've got 7 men in the box, so you got 6 guys trying to block 7, so that means your running back has got to beat one of them. And if he don't, it's not going to be a good play. And that happened a lot. If you don't have the numbers, you can't run, So anyway, so I think a lot of that and sometimes the running plays just take too long to develop. You got to get downhill. I saw Pittman getting on running back coach Jimmy Smith telling him they got to get north south. They got to quit dancing around. They got to get downhill. You run downhill. And I heard Pittman say last game too, like with Rocket. He said, it looks like we're trying to hit the big run, and it don't happen when you're looking for it. It happens when you're just sticking your nose in there and running hard. One of them will pop. And he's exactly right. If you're looking for that big run play, it's not going to happen. But if you just keep running the ball hard, just keep plugging away, you'll bust some big ones. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. That's my top 10 Arkansas Razorbacks versus Kent State. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button and come back for more videos. I've been breaking down a lot of plays that I used to run when I was coaching. And I love those Hogs. I love those Cowboys. Cowboys got a big win last night. Wore out the Giants. Holy moly. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. That's my top 10. We'll see you guys later. Go Hogs.